All right, let's get back to Bob now. We're talking about a big hurricane that's going to be out there in the Gulf.
Yes,
but
and
away from us, thankfully.
that's the key point, is that a lot of people are worried about it, obviously, here along the Sun Coast, but I can put you at ease. It's not going to turn right and head toward us. That's a certainty. With all these models in such agreement, we haven't seen anything like that for a while.
Right.
It's going to go north, and it's going to be far enough offshore. We're not going to see any hurricane force winds here. Tropical storm force is actually lowered. The chances down to about 20%, and that's really good. And more than likely, the tropical storm watch that's in effect could be dropped as early as this evening. Now, that remains to be seen, so don't let your guard down. And I've seen a lot with these storms that move into the Gulf and move through the Gulf far enough off that kind of people get relaxed and don't worry too much about it. But coastal residents should be concerned about it because there's still going to be a surge, heavy surf, surf advisory, rip currents, as well as a coastal flood. Coastal flooding is a real possibility with high tide being a little bit more extreme than usual. We're talking 2-foot high tides. You couple that with a 1 to maybe 3 foot storm surge, you're talking 4 or 5 foot storm surge, and that could be an issue for some roads and beaches here along the Sun Coast. That's what we have. We also have the possibility of isolated tornadoes. I mentioned the rip currents, already a good possibility. These are some of the big waves, and they're only going to get bigger as the storm continues to move into the Gulf of Mexico. This is from Barbara Siebers, and I encourage people to send their photos into pics at mysuncoast.com throughout this event, and also it looks like rip currents and coastal flooding a real possibility. Now, storm risks. This is always kind of vital to keep an eye on. One thing I noticed is this tornado risk I put in is in the moderate category, medium category there. When these bands develop, if they do, and move over us, they have a possibility of generating a tornado. I saw one move through earlier today, driving to work, had winds up to 40 miles an hour, and I was kind of concerned for something twisting up. I saw a lot of motion in the atmosphere. Storm surge will be a moderate risk as well. Damaging winds, I don't look to see any sustained damaging winds, but obviously tornadoes bring those damaging winds, and we could see wind gusts up to 40, 50 miles an hour with the individual cells. Rip currents, obviously going to be a big issue. Coastal flooding, minor coastal flooding, not out of the question. I saw that with George, a storm that moved through years ago, generate a big surge once it moved north of our latitude, and it was still over 150 miles offshore. You can notice also some big storms east of the center. The center here, these are several hundred miles east of the center, and we could tap into some of that. It's going to be sporadic, and most of it should stay offshore. There's the latest on it. We get a full advisory coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll get an intermediate at 8. We'll have that on our website as well. And winds expected to increase in intensity. Storm surge is going to be a huge deal here in the Big Bend area of Florida, from Apalachicola all the way to the Swanee River, where things are going to be significant. Here's that chances for us seeing tropical storms, sustained winds 35, 45, 50 miles an hour. They've lowered a little bit. They're down to 30% now for Manatee County. They have been as high as 40%, so that's a good sign. Still that chance, though, of getting some tropical storm force winds. Now, the warnings have also been issued now for the panhandle of Florida from the Swanee River all the way over to the Alabama and Florida border. We're still under a tropical storm watch for parts of Manatee, mainly Anna Maria Island northward. This is a coastal hurricane or a tropical storm watch in effect for the coastal waters of Sarasota. It does not include over the land. Now, those winds will be anywhere from 20 to 30 miles an hour tomorrow. It will eventually switch around to the southwest. Reason why we don't think it's going to make a big bend, there's nothing to the west of it except for this trough, which will drive the storm to the north. Also, high pressure east of the state will also keep it on that northerly fix, and you can see that moisture moving in this direction, so there could even be a little kick to the west, moving further away from us, and the next models will keep an eye on that. But these little rogue cells you see right there have a potential for generating a twister or two. We'll see more of those tomorrow. You see it moving right through near Punta Gorda. It dissipated, but tomorrow they'll stick around a little longer. We had wind gusts as high as nearly 40 miles an hour with those cells that moved through right around 2 o'clock. So we'll keep an eye on these banding features as they move through and up across our region tomorrow. Temperatures obviously will be a little bit cooler because of the clouds and showers. And again, we count on this trough to drive the storm north. We don't see anything to the west of the system which would cause it to move to the northeast. And we're still waiting for fall. It looks like it's on schedule right around the 16th. So we will see a cold front move through on the 16th, it looks like, as far as that goes. Real quickly, the 70% chance for showers scattered about. We may even see a little bit of sunshine. The rain chance is staying high all the way through Thursday. It will be windy, too, all the way through Wednesday and even into Thursday morning, I do believe, as we move through time. Now, as far as the forecast goes, we are going to continue to see basically nice weather for the weekend, and we'll have much more on that coming up, obviously, throughout the night on Facebook and mysuncoast.com. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you.